Conditional flaws. We will have to deal in certain flaw questions with conditional statements and then conditional flaws. Okay, we have covered that already when we did conditional statements, flip flaw and negation flaw. Remember where I talked about if you just flip the things but not negate them, that's wrong. That's the flip flaw. It led to the original condition as meaning being changed, and that's wrong. We cannot do that. And then there's negation flaw where we don't flip the things, but we just negate both sides. That also changed the meaning of the original conditional statement. So if any flaw, question, argument, stimulus has one of these two things happening in it, either things being just flipped or things just being negated, it's a flip flaw or negation flaw. An argument commits flip flaw when it just flips the conditional statement. Let's say we have a conditional statement. If A happens, then B happens. Okay? Let's say that was our premise. Then if the conclusion says, if B happens, then A happens, then that's flip flaw. Why? Because our premise said if A happens, B happens, and our conclusion is saying if B happens, A happens. Author just flipped the conditional statement which was in the premises. It's a flip flaw because it changes the meaning. Okay, having B is our necessary condition. In premise, we know that if we have A, then necessary condition B will happen. The conclusion is saying if we have B, the necessary condition, then we will definitely have A, the sufficient condition. That's not true. Having necessary condition does not tell us anything about the sufficient condition. What comes before the arrow might exist, might not exist. Having what comes after the arrow, the necessary condition, does not cause what's before the arrow to also occur. Okay? That's why just flipping the things, it's wrong, it's a flaw. Right? The right answer to is going to say something like, the argument mistakes something that is necessary to bring about a situation with something that is in itself is enough to bring about the situation. What does that mean? In simpler words, it means that what was necessary for sufficient condition is being taken as it's enough, is sufficient for the sufficient condition. Okay? I mean, if you look at it, when things get flipped, that's what it means. What was necessary has become sufficient now. That's what the right answer will say. Okay? Let's move to negation flaw now. An argument commits negation flaw when it just negates the conditional statements on both sides without flipping them. That also changes the meaning. If using our original conditional statement, if A happens, then B happens. The author, let's say, makes negation flaw by saying, if A does not happen, B does not happen. Okay? Can we say that? No, we cannot. Because we know that if necessary condition can happen without the sufficient one, right? B can exist without A. So saying that if A does not happen, B does not happen or cannot happen is wrong, because necessary again can exist without A, the sufficient condition, right? So be careful. It's a very subtle flaw. Pay attention when your conditional statements in the argument, whether the argument is committing one of these two flaws. Okay. But before we go to the answer choice, let me just tell you what right answer choice will look like in negation flaw. It's going to say something like, the argument confuses being an adequate solution with being a required solution. Okay? Or it might say, argument takes a condition that is sufficient for the conclusion to be true is one that is necessary for the conclusion to be true. Okay? It's a very complicated way of expressing these two flaws. Something that you have to memorize. Okay? All right. Let's do a question.